Good evening. This is Rocket Shop, Big Heavy World's local Vermont music radio hour. Every Wednesday from 8 to 9 p.m. on 105.9 FM The Radiator, WOMMLP, Burlington. I'm your host, Genevieve Rossi, and I have the pleasure of welcoming Will Krulak tonight. Will, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well.
Great. Can you just start by introducing yourself and introducing the music you're going to play tonight?
Yeah, so my name is Will. I'm going to be playing a couple songs that I've written. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm glad to be here. Thank you, Genevieve, for putting this together.
Of course. Do you want to just start with playing us a song, giving us a little taste?
Yeah, sure.
Awesome.
In my dreams, I looked into a mirror. In my dream, I thought I saw you clearer. It was a couple years from now, not much had changed. I saw you walking up Maple. Suddenly it changed, it was raining again, and I wish that you were nearer. In my dreams, I looked into a mirror. In my dreams, I saw you so much clearer. Staring at the glass, a reflection of the past. I touched cold metallic. Bed frames will rust, and I'll stare off into dust and think about you often. In my dream, I looked into a mirror. In my dream, it had a real life feel. Waking in a sweat, checking the alarm, not quite sober. See you sometime soon, silver crescent moon, I hope you'll come over. In my dream, I looked into a mirror. In my dream, you were so much clearer.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
So, Will, could you kind of start by just telling us a little bit about your kind of musical life story, like what got you into music, when you started writing for yourself, just kind of the whole...
Yeah. I took a couple, so I got an acoustic guitar when I was 10. I took a couple lessons at my school, and I hated it because it was very dry. And then a couple years later, I was a friend of mine taught me how to play a couple just like cowboy chords, some Grateful Dead songs on the guitar, and I realized it was something that I really liked. So I sort of went from there and started branching out into what I liked. And then just learning more songs, learning about more music. And then in high school, I played in a couple bands and did a couple projects at the beginning of college. And now just recently I've started working on a new project with a couple of songs, and I'm going to be playing some songs from that.
Yeah, Yeah, awesome. And when you came to Burlington for college, how does the Burlington music scene kind of affect your day-to-day life if you're a student now, but also just kind of doing whatever else? What does it kind of look like for your life?
Like my experience with the Burlington music scene.
Yeah.
Um, I've found it to be really varied. At least from my perspective, a lot of my sort of favorite parts of the Burlington music scene are like the basement shows and whatnot. But then there are also some of my favorite experiences have been at like um, acoustic shows at Radio Bean. There's a great band that does some acoustic shows at Radio Bean. Um, I guess like my personal experience with the Burlington music scene is just meeting people through the Burlington music scene. It's a really great way to sort of branch out, meet folks here in town.
Yeah. And as a musician, you are right now working on a solo project, which is what you're showing us stuff. Do you kind of prefer to be with a band, or do you prefer this kind of solo gig?
I don't know. I think being with a band is a lot. It's different. It's like there's a different energy. At least like the type of band that I think would sort of seek out. Um, but this right now, I don't know. It's weird and new to me. Never really done solo project before. Um, so there's like a vulnerability to it that's kind of it's something to grapple with.
Yeah, absolutely. I think as you stand before us, it's definitely kind of, you don't have anybody behind you to back you up, so you do have to really be confident in yourself.
Absolutely.
But have you kind of seen a lot of evolution in your playing since you've been kind of on your own? You don't have the whole band behind you. What have you seen kind of change in yourself and like in your writing process as well?
The writing process has gotten quieter. I wrote all of these songs on an acoustic guitar. So I think I when I'm alone by myself, I tend to write on the acoustic guitar, sort of just write the bones of a song and then sort of make up some scat hummed melody and come figure something out with that. I don't know. It's been pared down for sure without collaborating with people.
Yeah, and when you are writing and you kind of think about what you want your sound to be, what is like kind of the genre you would describe your present project as, and what do you want it to be at least?
Oh, geez.
It can be a mixed genre.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure because I think when I set out writing, I am informed by a lot of different disparate genres and musicians. And I think I try to approach with like sort of the all-encompassing rock, all-encompassing folk and sort of like alt country. And then I definitely find myself getting influenced by like a lot of, like bedroom pop, bedroom indie, and whatnot. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. On the bedroomy vibe, can you tell us about like where you record and where you've been like recording this stuff right now that you're working on?
I record in my closet. I record entirely in my closet. It's I live on a little house on Sherman Street, and I've got this little closet where I just set up my audio box and then my laptop, and then just record right in there. And sometimes I'll go down to I'm also part of a studio on Pine Street, and that's where I'll go to like get ideas and to play loud. And I've got my 100-watt amp down there and can actually make some noise. But in my closet, it's a good place to just like get ideas out, like flush things out.
Yeah, and kind of in your closet, I guess you can really get to know yourself a little bit better in your music. Your solo project, it is very much your own. So where have you kind of seen your sound like gravitating towards, and what have you been kind of like focused on while you're writing this kind of this solo stuff?
I've been focused on writing I've had to like actually listen to what I record a lot more than I have before. Embarking on this project, I will like actually sit down and spend hours and hours and hours just listening to the most minute detail in what I've recorded, and it's probably gets to the point of redundancy, but that's something I've found myself doing a lot recently, is just listening, because you have to listen to yourself. And so I've been doing that a lot.
Yeah, well, let's let more people listen to you. Can you play us another one?
Another one, yeah. I actually got to get into tune for this one.
That's cool. We love tuning sounds.
Actually, I'll do another one that's in standard. But I took the capo off, so I got to make sure it's actually in tune now. All right. Were you asking me a question? I didn't hear just what you said. Have you planned ahead for next year? I haven't thought past December 5th. Will you walk with me to the shoreline to watch the sunset one more time? Can you help me pack the car now? See you on the other side. Am I on time for a visitation? Your room's arranged just how you like. Leaning up from your hospital bed, you whisper, I'm coming home tonight.
Awesome. Can you tell listeners what the name of that song is?
That song is called Other Side.
Beautiful. And I just want to talk a little bit about your kind of songwriting process and what that looks like for you. So for this solo project, what have you kind of been drawing on in your inspiration? What have you been writing about? Are you writing from your own perspective? Are you writing from kind of a fictional character? Or are you kind of drawn from your own life?
Yeah, I've been I've been writing a lot from my own perspective. I've been writing about sort of this um, weird space in life, weird space in time that I think a lot of people have felt this year in particular, um, about sort of um, the future and what that means, how it sort of changed for a lot of folks, how you can sort of live your life like with a pretty defined future plan, and then it sort of all changes.
Yeah. And how has COVID and the kind of quarantine era affected your music? Have you been you haven't been able to perform live very much, and I know you have another band, Florist Fires, we can talk about a little. Is it kind of more just focusing on recording and perfecting that sound, or are you kind of seeking out other routes of spreading the word for your music?
Um, I yeah, it's I've been trying to do a lot of recording because that's something I've never really done um, that intensely. I am learning a lot every day. It's a steep learning curve. Um, I think I've just been trying to get a lot of thoughts and musical ideas that I've always had kicking around in my head um, out onto the page, onto the space, the web space, whatever that is, um, just to sort of like, I don't know, put it out there. Yeah.
Yeah, so on your band, do you think you kind of have any goals with that, or you want to stay with your single project for a while, or you kind of spread yourself in a couple different directions? Which ones do you kind of lean towards more?
Florist Fires is like a basement project. So Florist Fires right now we're sort of just we're on hiatus before we ever even played a show. We're on hiatus right now. We're writing and practicing, um, but we're on hiatus until we can play in a basement on Loomis Street or wherever.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think if you're focusing more on your solo project, do you have any goals for yourself as a solo artist? Are you looking towards an album? What does that kind of look like as you've been releasing a few different singles? Are you working towards something bigger?
Yeah, I'm I don't know. I'm in the very very early stages of trying to put together like an album. I put out 3 songs, all in various stages of production knowledge, recording knowledge, um, and they're all pretty low on that scale. But I guess my goal over the next couple of months, next year or so, is to sort of just gain more knowledge, gain more insight into my songwriting process, into songwriting processes of artists who I love and appreciate, um, and as well as the songwriting aspect. There's the recording. There's the whole technological shindig that I don't really know all that much about. That I'm trying to get educated on.
Yeah, and kind of we were talking about artists that inspire you. Do you have any like influences who are really influencing this particular project of yours, and like people that you've always just kind of like admired and kind of work into your own style a little bit?
Yeah, a couple artists who I look up to a lot. Um, I really look up to Jeff Tweedy of Wilco, um, and Trey Anastasio from Fish, of course. Um, and recently, over the last few months, I've been listening to and trying to draw on a lot of Alex G and Lamelda, um, both artists who have always been like on my radar since middle school, high school, um, but have sort of gained a new appreciation for in the last year or so.
Yeah, and so you're originally from Baltimore and you're here in Burlington now. How has your kind of musical life brought you to this point? What kind of drew you to Burlington? What parts of like the Vermontese scene have you really been drawn to, and what do you kind of draw from it to into your own style?
I came to UVM for Fish and for Fish alone. No, I'm kidding. It definitely doesn't not play a role. Um, growing up in Baltimore, I was always really like attracted to the scene that they had down there, that we had down there. I saw a lot of shows at this place called the Auto Bar, which I don't think is actually in existence anymore, unfortunately. But I got to see a bunch of bands at that time who were like small, medium, and then in the last couple years grown to be quite big. And just seeing like Baltimore bands, Baltimore artists make it is kind of cool on an international, or not on like a national level. Like I got to see a band that I saw in Baltimore when I was like 15, in Burlington when I was 19, and that was really cool. That was unexpected. So I think the like Baltimore to Burlington pipeline, or Baltimore to Burlington continuum, is something that I'm really grateful for, that I really appreciate. I love Baltimore and I love Burlington.
Yeah. And kind of as you go forward, do you have any goals for this personal project and just for your music in general? Like, do you have any like big picture, I really want to do this? Like, where do you want to take your music, and where do you want music to take you in the future?
Man, I don't know. I kind of just want to keep getting better at like expressing my internal monologue, my internal dialogue through music, and through like the guitar and songwriting. So I guess my hopes and my dreams are to be able to like put out music in a format like an album, and to have that end up as something that I'm happy with. I'd like to be able to package up what I write, what I create, and give it to people in some way or another.
Yeah, do you want to play us another song?
Sure, this one I do have to tune for.
Okay.
So you can ask another question or two.
We can do some tuning dialogue. What is this song called?
This one is called, what is this one called? Light. This one's called Light.
And when did you write this?
I wrote this at the beginning of November. I was really sick, and I wrote and recorded this song in one day. I think it's called Light.
It's a working title.
It's a working title. The lyrics are all different now. Well, mostly. I actually rewrote the lyrics to this one and the last one pretty recently. So I'm still kind of rusty on them.
It's okay. We like rusty lyrics, works in progress and such.
Yeah, this is, well, I think of like an alternate version.
Ooh, deep cut.
Yeah. All right. I saw your name in the fluorescent light. I saw your name in the fluorescent light. Coming home from work, picked you up last night, doing it again. You always think you're right. I saw your name in the fluorescent light. I name in the fluorescent light, waking to my head, living in my bed, this muddy, uncleared air, things I left unsaid. I saw your name in the fluorescent light. I saw your name in the fluorescent light. Lesson learned. Why'd we have that fight? It wasn't me. It wasn't in the right. I saw your name in the fluorescent light. 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 Home from work again, stumbling up the flight. That's just how it is. And you forgot last night.
Awesome. That was Light by Will Krulak. So, Will,
Yes.
what draws you to music? Where have you kind of found this as an outlet? I know this is a big picture question.
That's a
but-
huge question. I'm drawn to music for the like out of body feeling that comes along with sort of playing and making sounds. I don't know. I like making sounds.
Yeah, and what do you want people to get out of your music when they hear it? Another big picture
Oh,
question.
jeez. I don't know. I kind of want that people to get like there's a feeling that I get out of a lot of music that I like. That's like it sounds it feels like you're in the room with someone else. Like it feels like you're with a good friend. I don't know.
Familiarity.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And kind of, we were talking about we don't know the genre of your music, but when you create your music, do you have a certain like feeling you're trying to invoke, or is it varying with other songs and just kind of different things, or does this project have like a definite tone that you want to be setting with it?
Yeah. So this project, I guess, what I'm trying to the this project's sort of theme, and I think the theme of a lot of stuff that I write touches on, I don't know, the relationships one has with oneself, the relation, and how that sort of informs relationships with others, how you carry yourself through the world, how that, how like your interactions and relationships with others sort of impact you and change you for the better, for the worse, for the whatever.
Yeah. And how do you kind of see yourself evolving? Do you see yourself kind of wanting to keep with this sound? Do you want to kind of work to do something bigger, something more intense, something that's going to change kind of people's perspectives when they hear it, or are you happy with the familiarity and the...
Yeah, I like the familiarity. I'd like to add a bit more sludge to it. I don't know. I enjoy the familiarity. I think that's something I'm gonna try to work on for a while. There are other sounds and other ideas I want to take and run with too. But right now, at least, this is what I'm trying to work on, I think.
And are there other things in your life that like aren't musical influences that are influencing this? Like, if we look at your social medias, you were at a really cool lake. Do you want to tell us a little bit about how you performed at Lake Willoughby and what that's kind of like, and where you kind of are drawing inspiration in other sources?
Yeah, I've drawn a lot of influence and inspiration from the world, or my world around me, especially that of Burlington, of Vermont, and the people I've come to know here. Yeah, there was a while I used to work in a kitchen downtown, and I have a bunch of like voice memos on my phone that's just songs about working in a kitchen. Maybe I'll unearth those someday. So I try to work in a little bit about writing about what I'm doing, just in the daily life, because I think there's a lot of stuff there, just about how you think about and like fixate on certain things throughout the days.
Yeah. And I guess also on that note, where do you, like, when COVID's kind of over, when you can perform, do you have any places you're like really looking to perform? Like, just,
The Pit.
yeah. No, but like if you had like any goals of like, oh, I have like a dream performance here or something like that, are there any highlights that you're really looking forward to getting back to live music for?
I'm really looking forward to playing in the Burlington Pit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Florist Fires is going to try to do something there. But I'm looking forward to, I don't know. I don't know when things are going to change. But I'm looking forward to hopefully having the opportunity to play just around town in Burlington. I'd like to play. I'd like to go to Baltimore at some point and play whenever that's possible.
Yeah. And I think we're kind of getting towards the end. Do you have one more?
Yeah, this is a work in progress, but I'll play it.
That's cool. We like to end on works in progress. Thank you so much, Will, for coming on. Can you tell listeners where they can find your music?
Yeah, I have a couple songs on Bandcamp, and that's just will-krulak.bandcamp.com. And then I have a song on Spotify, and that's just at Will Krulak. I've also got some Florist Fires material on Spotify.
Awesome. Well, also shout out your social medias so people can find you on social medias.
It's just my name, Will Krulak.
Awesome. So thank you so much for coming on. Thanks for sharing your music with us. Good luck as you go forward with your album and whatever else comes of that. This has been Rocket Shop on 105.9 FM, the Radiator, WOMMLP Burlington. I've been your host, Genevieve Rossi, and tune in next week to listen to our guests, Vedika and Den City. Thanks, y'all. Have a great night.
Thank you.